And you're ready to start on either. All right, at this time, we're going to go ahead and move forward with our recognitions. Dr. Horton, the introduction for us.
Good morning, school board. Chairman Ms. Pierce, Vice Chair.
All right, at this time, we're going to go ahead and move forward.
Gabrielle Angoma is a junior at Druid Hills High School. She currently has a 3.97 GPA and works well with other students. Gabrielle is considerate and respectful to teachers, and when teachers ask questions, she will be the first to raise her hand. Gabrielle loves school and enjoys participating in activities. Gabrielle is a proud member of the Beta Club and Black Student United, BSU. She is a former member of the flag team, step team, and continues to engage in ballet, hip hop, contemporary, and jazz dance. Gabrielle also loves arts and crafts and working with younger kids. After graduation, she plans to attend Spelman College and will be majoring in elementary education. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Gabrielle to the stage.
Hello, good morning. My name is Gabrielle Goma. I'm in the 11th grade and I come from Druid Hills High School.
Gabrielle, welcome to the DeKalb County Board of Education Board Meeting. Glad to have you with us. At this time, we're going to move forward with the recognitions. Our first one will be the proclamation After School Professionals Appreciation Week. And in Mr. DeCosta's absence, I will present that. Proclamation for Exceptional Children's Week, Mr. Andrew Ziffer, and Proclamation School Library Month, Dr. Tiffany Hogan. We'll go down and present. Is everybody ready? Proclamation for the After School Professionals Appreciation Week, April 21st through 25th, 2025. Whereas the After School Extended Day Program, or ASEDP, has designated April 21st through 25th, 2025 as After School Professionals Appreciation Week, i.e. the National After School Association. And whereas After School Extended Day Program, ASEDP, schools in the DeKalb County Schools District provide students with a clean, safe, and nurturing after-school environment. And whereas After-School Extended Day Programs, ASEDP, improve students' social, emotional skills and academic performance through meaningful experiences, thus improving the quality of their education, engaging students, mitigating risk factors, and positively impacts youth outcomes. And whereas After-School Extended Day Programs, ASEDP, educators in the DeKalb County School District are dedicated professionals who inspire and encourage students to achieve their school goals and contribute to the overall growth of our community. And whereas partnerships between After-School Extended Day Programs in the DeKalb County School District, local businesses, and local government enhance the quality and relevance of education, ensuring students are prepared to complete their education. And whereas After-School Extended Day Programs, After-School Professionals Appreciation Week in the DeKalb County School District provides an opportunity to celebrate the achievements and contributions of after-school professionals to raise awareness of the importance of after-school extended day programs in preparing well-rounded students. Therefore, be it resolved that the DeKalb County School District hereby proclaims April 21st through 25th, 2025 as After School Professionals Appreciation Week and encourages all students educators, parents, and community members to recognize and support the valuable role of after-school professionals in our schools and community. In official recognition whereof, we hereby affix our signatures this 21st day of April, 2025, and it is signed by myself, Mrs. Deirdre P. Pierce as Chair, Allison Gevertz as Vice Chair, and Dr. Devon Q. Horton as our Superintendent. Congratulations.
Here's the next DeKalb County proclamation for Exceptional Children's Week. Whereas exceptional children may be identified as students with autism, spectrum disorder, emotional and behavioral disabilities, intellectual disabilities, orthopedic impairments, and other health impairments, significant development delays, specific learning disabilities, speech, language impairments, traumatic brain injury, visual impairments, and those who are deaf, blind, deaf, hard of hearing, who by reason thereof require special education related services. I'm gonna let everybody get up there first. Thank you. I'll start again since I didn't wait long enough for you guys to get up there. And I have to say one thing that this is a very special group to me because my child's a DeKalb County School graduate and he graduated in the school system. He has epilepsy, diabetes, face syndrome, and neurodiversion. And so this is a very special award for me to give today. So a proclamation for Exceptional Children's Week, whereas exceptional children may be identified as students with autism spectrum disorder, emotional and behavioral disabilities, intellectual disabilities, orthopedic impairments, and other health impairments, significant development delays, specific learning disabilities, speech language impairments, traumatic brain injury, visual impairments, and those who are deaf, blind, and deaf, hard of hearing, who by reason thereof require special education and related services. And whereas being consistent with the pursuit of achievement, it is essential that all children receive equal opportunities to education, and exceptional children possess the same need to receive a high quality education. And whereas many DeKalb County students and community residents may not be aware of the needs and true potential of exceptional individuals, and whereas it is the intent of the DeKalb County School District to provide all the students the opportunity to lead meaningful and productive lives, and whereas DeKalb County can be proud of its exemplary leadership and endless dedication to exceptional children, and whereas the Council for Exceptional Children and professional organization that promotes the advancement in education of all exceptional persons has helped and will continue to help make advancements in the field of special education, and therefore, the DeKalb County Board of Education does hereby proclaim April 14th to April 18th, 2025 as Exceptional Children's Week, an official recognition whereof we hereby affix our signatures this 21st day of April 2025, signed by Ms. Deirdre Pierce, Board Chair, Ms. Allison Gvertz, Board Vice Chair, and Dr. Devon Horton, our Superintendent.
Okay, good morning. I'm Tiffany Hogan. I will be reading the proclamation for School Library Month. Whereas April 2025 has been designated as the annual National School Library Month with the theme Excellence is Our Story, School Libraries Leading the Way, and whereas the School Library Media Program's mission is to ensure that students and staff are effective users of ideas and information, and whereas the teacher, librarians, and library media assistants of DeKalb County have dedicated themselves to work for quality school library media programs for all students, and whereas the teacher librarians teach the skills of locating and using information through traditional resources and new technologies, provide literature appreciation activities, and encourage content and recreational reading to every student. And whereas school library media programs promote intellectual freedom by providing materials to meet the needs, interests, abilities, social economic backgrounds, and maturity levels of all students served, while fostering excellence and equity in education. And whereas the DeKalb County School District recognizes Miss Tracy Harden of Clarkston High School as the 2025 Library Media Specialist of the Year. Congratulations. Excellent. Her leadership is evidenced by her collaboration with teachers and community partners, integration of technology into instruction, and celebration of student reading. And whereas on Saturday, January 25th, 2025, 71 elementary, middle, and high school teams were registered to compete in the 26th annual DeKalb County School District's Helen Ruffin Reading Bowl competition held in person at Arabia Mountain High School. Of the six DeKalb first and second place teams who advanced to the Metro Regional Competition, Kittredge Magnet School and Lakeside High School advanced to the state competition held on Saturday, March 22nd, 2025. Right. Therefore, by this action, let it be known that the DeKalb County Board of Education does hereby proclaim April 2025 as School Library Month in the public schools of DeKalb County and calls upon school administrators, teachers, and citizens of DeKalb County to recognize and support this action and to participate throughout the month of April in celebration of School Library Month. It is so proclaimed, and in official recognition whereof we hereby affix our signatures this 21st day of April 2025. Mrs. Deirdre Pierce, DeKalb County School District Board Chair, Ms. Allison Javerts, who is our Board Vice Chair, as well as our Superintendent, Dr. Devon Horton. Thank you.
Another round of applause, all of our honorees. Thank you so much. At this time, I'm going to turn our meeting over to the superintendent to introduce our reports.
All right. So it's a great time recognizing our staff and our students. Now we're going to have a presentation on our strategic plan update. So we're going to bring up for Go Area 4. I think we have Dr. Jones and Dr. Taylor, Miss Taylor. I gave you a doctorate, Doc. and I think this is also you, too, Dr. Towns, right? Okay, come on up. Dr. Sauce, are you a part of this presentation? No, sir. Nope. Okay, all right.
Go ahead, please.
Ready? Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Mrs. Pierce, Madam Vice Chair, Mrs. Gerverts, members of the board, and Superintendent Horton. Today, the Division of Schools and Leadership and the Division of Wraparound Services will be presenting updates on Strategic Plan Goal Area 4, Culture and Climate. In schools, culture refers to the shared values, beliefs, and norms that define the school community, while climate describes the overall atmosphere and feeling of the school, including the physical and emotional safety of students and staff. DeKalb County School District is working intentionally to develop strong school cultures that foster a sense of belonging, improve student engagement, and positively impact academic outcomes, along with the promotion of a positive school climate that can lead to improved well-being, stronger relationships, and reduce behavioral problems to meet the following key performance indicators by 2029. DeKalb County School District will show a reduction in bullying and major disciplinary incidents by 10% as reported by the Georgia DOE School Safety Report. 71% of DCSD schools will receive 4 stars or higher on the College and Career Readiness Performance Index School Climate Star Rating. 100% of DeKalb schools will utilize restorative practices. 75% of DeKalb schools will implement positive behavior interventions and supports, PBIS. And there will be a reduction of chronic absenteeism by 15% as reported by the Governor's Office of Student Assignment Attendance Report. These updates are presented to provide the strategies used to meet the performance objective and key performance indicators by 2029. Goal Area 4, Culture and Climate. Goal Area 4.1, ensure all schools provide a safe, orderly, and supportive learning environment for all students and staff. In January of 2025, 84 school-level staff, assistant principals, and district support staff representing 61 schools received training on verbal de-escalation techniques. All assistant principals received training on student discipline related to district due process hearings, discipline team meetings, students with disabilities, and Title IX. Initial training was in August of 2024, and a refresher was done in January of 2025. The 10 new Cohort 9 PBIS schools, 70 participants, successfully completed the Georgia Department of Education's new PBIS MTSS integration model training. Bullying prevention and awareness training has been provided to over 1,000 staff members, including bus drivers, bus monitors, nurses, psychologists, and social workers. All school-based staff and students receive training on an annual basis. Goal Area 4.2, implement restorative practice structures in all schools and increase the number of schools using positive behavior interventions and supports programs each year. In November of 2024, 48 PBIS schools and 2 Georgia Network of Educational and Therapeutic for Support Centers completed the Tiered Fidelity Inventory, which assesses PBIS implementation fidelity. Since August 2024, over 300 district staff have been trained in restorative practices foundation circles. During March 2025, 12 district support staff, culture and climate coordinators, social workers, student engagement coaches were trained as trainers in restorative practice foundation circles. During March of 2025, 30 district support staff, to include culture and climate coordinators, social workers, and student engagement coaches, have been trained in restorative practices facilitating conferences. Goal Area 4.3, improve student attendance by creating a positive and engaging school experience. Since September of 2024, there have been 37 parent attendance cafes and 485 parent contacts made across the various schools. A second semester attendance campaign has been launched. Trophies will be awarded to winners from the participating schools. Since August of 2024, a total of 89 everyday labs trainings have been conducted by school staff, school leaders, and multi-tiered system of support staff. Currently, there are 750 signups and 604 active users. Attendance specialists have conducted 1,788 attendance interventions, including parent phone calls, trainings, targeted student and parent meetings, and school attendance team meetings. And Goal Area 4.4, ensuring that all schools have staff trained in de-escalation techniques and crisis prevention intervention CPI strategies. Since August of 2024, the Exceptional Education Department has held 12 crisis prevention intervention trainings and have trained 124 school-level employees, and 4 verbal de-escalation techniques trainings and have trained 62 school-level employees. In January of 2025, 29 district support staff, including culture and climate coordinators, social workers, and PBIS district coaches, were trained as district trainers in verbal de-escalation techniques. As of March 2025, 50 elementary school campus security associates were trained in verbal de-escalation techniques. As of March 2025, 314 total district staff, to include school level and district support staff, have been trained in verbal de-escalation techniques. And then by June 30th, 2025, an additional 70 school level and district support staff will be trained as trainers in verbal de-escalation techniques. We also have additional outcomes for Goal Area 4, Culture and Climate. As of March 2025, there have been 3,611 less out-of-school suspension resolutions, from 6,507 to 5,604. As of March 2025, there have been 903 less in-school suspension resolutions, from 14,372 to 10,761. As of March 2025, there have been 130 less district due process hearings, down from 533 to 403. During the 23-24 school year, 52% of the schools that received a school climate star rating of 4 or higher were PBIS schools. A number of schools implementing PBIS have had positive gains in state level recognitions. From the 22-23 school year to the 23-24 school year, schools receiving emerging recognitions increased from 21 to 22. From the 22-23 school year to the 23-24 school year, schools receiving operational recognitions increased from 13 to 15. From 22-23 school year to 23-24 school year, schools receiving distinguished recognition increased from 0 to 1. As a result of the district's Bullying Stops Here awareness campaign, there have been a 34% decrease in the number of state-reported bullying incidents from 22-23 school year to the 23-24 school year. Moreover, there has been a 72.99% decrease since the 2011-2012 school year. As of March 2025, Of the Horizon schools fully implementing everyday labs, 23% of chronically absent students improved to non-chronically absent. 51% of students improved attendance rate after receiving everyday lab chronic absent nudges. This data includes the 6,729 students whose family received at least one text and one mail nudge. 80% of at-risk students did not become chronically absent. 133 student groups have convened through the SAFE Center to work on conflict resolution, self-esteem, dysregulation, and communication skills, thus avoiding a more serious consequence at school. 171 referrals were made for individual mental health services for students through the SAFE Center program, which decreased acting out behaviors at school. 351 student conferences were held by SAFE Center social worker liaisons. Thank you, and that concludes the Go Area 4 Culture and Climate Report.
And thank you so very much, Ms. Taylor. And let me give a hand clap for that report.
Is that it?
So amazing numbers. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Yes, we can get a copy. And are there any questions from our board members or comments?
Ms. Gervais? Oh, sorry, Ms. McGinnis.
I'm good.
Okay, Ms. McGinnis, please.
Thank you. I was hoping that you could just confirm how many schools currently are doing PBIS, and if you could kind of like walk us through sort of like the process of becoming a PBIS school.
Thank you for the question. So we currently have 60 schools and centers that are implementing PBIS. We actually just met our Miracles priority goal of having 10 schools implementing PBIS during the 24-25 school year. It is our intention, of course, to have 75% of our schools implementing PBIS by 2029. So essentially, we send out information to the schools about PBIS, and I do want to let you know that we're now going to a model of Georgia MTSS PBIS, where we not only include academics, but behavior and mental health and well-being. And what's so wonderful about that is we're already set up for that to happen with Fidelity, of course, due to the board, and thank you, board, for approving to have additional mental health staff within DeKalb County School District, and also other staff members that assist with students such as space advocates and behavior interventionists, et cetera. And so we send out that invitation. Principals certainly can volunteer to provide an application, and they'll fill out that application, or inventory is what we call it, in order to become a PBIS school. And we select them if they would like to be a PBIS school. Now, that is voluntary, but I will share that it is our intention to make sure all schools are implementing PBIS, because we see the great work that they do. They will then also undergo Georgia MTSS training, and then the first semester, and then the second semester, they will undergo that standard PBIS Tier 1 training, and then they're off to the races. And I will also share that we have 12 elements for PBIS. And again, that includes data collection, ensuring that we have incentives for students, teacher efficacy, all of those things that make sure a school is safe and positive within its learning environment.
Perfect. Thank you. And I just wanted to give kudos. I do a little annual report each year where I try and pick out good things that we're doing in the district, and I mapped it to our strategic plan this year. And this area was very easy for me to write because you have so many great outcomes. I mean, the data is really proving that the things we're doing in this space are working and are effective. So I just wanted to thank you for that.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ms. McGinnis. Dr. Hogan?
Yes, thank you for the information. a couple questions. The first question is, where could we find a list of all of the schools that are PBIS? I just want to see which schools in District 5 are use the program.
Yes, so they are placed on the district's website.
Okay.
And if you go to Student Support and Intervention and the site map, it will link you to that page.
We can also send that to you too, once we
Oh,
get
sure.
that. Yep.
Okay.
We'll send it to the board.
Okay, thank you. And the second question is, in terms of, I know you mentioned staff and district being trained.
Yes.
But what about your classroom teachers in terms of exactly how do we go about supporting them in efforts to de-escalation or things that happen in the classroom? What type of supports do our classroom teachers receive?
So thank you for that question. And so the school administrators, they may send teachers to those trainings because we have so many teachers. Sometimes it can become a little difficult, a challenge for us to train those teachers, but certainly if the principals would like teachers who may be having challenges with behavior within the classroom, sometimes classroom management. We do have professional development as well for that, but they are also allowed to participate in de-escalation. And in the coming school year, we're making a plan to see how we can train teachers because they're the first line of defense, so to speak, within the classroom.
And can I just add too, that's a great question, Dr. Hogan. We have about 7 or 8 schools in Horizon that we took their teams through what we call comps training, which helps, like, it encompasses classroom management, organization, all of that. So their leaders got trained, and we're going to be bringing some cohorts of teachers in this summer to get trained in comps as well. Yep.
And thank you, Dr. Hogan. And Dr. Towns, real quickly, with our strategics, of course, is that infused into the training for professional development for our teachers so they know to remember to utilize that?
Well, Centegix is the training for crisis, if there's a crisis emergency in the building.
Right.
And I believe public safety does that training.
Yep.
But I will share that we designated a lead within our different divisions to provide that oversight and that training for them.
Yeah, and they do get trained, and that's a separate training, but the teachers do get trained in how to use Centegix.
Good. Thank you so much. Ms. Ongoma?
One thing I would like to input is the PBIS is very good. It gives students something to look forward to so they won't have to just focus on disrupting the class and things like that and roaming the halls. It gives them points and something to look forward to and surprises and things like that.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Good. Thank you so very much for your report.
Thank you.
Excellent news. Thank you.
Next up, we have student assignment planning with Dr. Weaver and Sarita Smith.
Greetings, Board Chair Mrs. Pierce, Vice Chair Mrs. Gevertz, members of the board, and Dr. Horton. As the work of the Student Assignment Project continues, we would like to share we would like to share the SAP at a Glance video for this month. The video features 3 members of the various committees, and they will highlight the work that is being done. After the video, Mrs. Sarita Smith, Executive Director, is here to answer any questions that you may have. And so with that, Robert, we ask that you play the video.
Just right on your side.
Hello, DeKalb County School District community, and welcome back to Student Assignment at a Glance. My name is Sarita Smith, and I'm the Executive Director of Student Assignment. Today, I brought a few committee members with me to share our update.
My name is Sonia, and I'm a member of the Central SAP Committee.
My name is Felicia, and I'm a member of the North SAP Committee.
And my name is Kedrick, and I am a member of the Central SAP Committee.
We are here to share updates from our March Student Assignment Committee meetings. This past month, our committees worked on developing guiding principles that we will use as parameters for developing options for buildings, boundaries, and programs.
All committees were posed with the big question: what do we need to consider when determining right sizing for our district? Committees reviewed data related to
The comprehensive master plan from 2020, past facility studies,
numbers and types of buildings, grade bands,
capacities and enrollment trends, Dekalb facility ages,
number of buildings, forecasts,
enrollment changes, school utilization. After all this data diving and analysis, each of our 4 committees developed over 35 guiding principles. We then came together and went through a max diff survey process to determine our top guiding principles for buildings. We are still working to finalize our top 5, and we will share them on the SAP website.
As you can see, we have been working hard to create a roadmap to keep us focused, aligned, and connected to the SAP vision. Our committees will go through this same process as we develop guiding principles for programs in April and boundaries in May.
Please follow our project by scanning the QR code on the screen or follow us on our website at the link below.
Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you all next month.
Okay, great report. Thank you. Comments, questions, colleagues? Mrs. Ziffler?
I just have a question about the integration of your effort within the school system right now. So you're looking at student population, you're looking at which schools are underutilized, which schools are overutilized. It's very easy to take an underutilized school and say, hey, we should probably relocate or do something with this school, either move students around to make it a little bit more at capacity. In your purview, actually, let me before I say that, but there's going to be the new program manager, the SIP program manager, is going to make facility recommendations and give a facility status kind of a perspective throughout the district over the next year. That seems to be trailing your effort, so you're almost ahead of that effort. Is there an echo? When in your purview, are you going to look at taking schools and saying, hey, this school is very underpopulated in this, or I'm sorry, overpopulated in this area, doesn't have enough capacity for the students projected over the next 5 or 10 years? Is this going to be within your purview to recommend facility changes too?
So yes, we are working pretty closely with operations. I am pretty aware of the trailing, if you will, of that project as well. So yes, we are looking at, again, as we kind of say, various things. The process that we're kind of following right now is if we can get our guiding principles solidified, that will then become almost our filter on how we make recommendations. So maybe, yes, the school is under capacity, but maybe the actual building just got $8 million of renovation, so perhaps that kind of balances if we determine if that's a school that we're looking at or not. So it's not necessarily just as cut as dry as if the school has less capacity or overcapacity.
Let me add to that too. So in the cases with the overcapacity, it may be 2 options that may come from that. One recommendation will maybe, hey, we need to change attendance boundaries, because some of our overcapacity is not just based off the building being too small, it's our boundaries have not been shifted in a significant amount of time to make it make sense. That's one way. The other way may be, oh, you know what, we need to build a larger school. And so we'll work with HPM. Is it HMP or HPM? I'm always going backwards with that.
HPM.
We'll work with our HPM, we'll work with them and see what makes more sense for that community. So as boundaries could be an issue, it could be the design of a new school, potentially, building for a larger population, or a combination of both.
And I think you hinted
programs that are in schools that are over capacity is also something we're looking at.
I think you hinted to what I was not saying, but I'm a big fan of larger, more efficient schools. It's much more efficient to operate one 900 or 800 student capacity school than 2 400 or 450 capacity schools. I think we need to consider moving to that model. And Of course, that means building a whole entire school because we only have a limited supply of 800, 900 schools, student schools right now. So that's my perspective right now, at least.
Okay, thank you.
And thanks, Mr. Ziffer. Ms. McGinnis?
I really just wanted to thank you for the effort. As I think most people know, I've been sitting in on many of the SAP meetings, and I think it has been, not only a very thorough process, but I think importantly, it has been a very transparent process. Anyone right now can go to the SAP website and view every recording from every meeting that has happened so far, and all the notes, all the slides are up for review. I think that's very important as we start to get into the recommendations of, because inevitably we are going to have some folks who did not tune in the beginning, but then they hear from a friend who heard from a neighbor that their school has some recommendation being made, and then all of a sudden, very understandably, they are interested. So I think that the fact that we have, clearly documented the process is important. But I also wanted to say, and we had talked about this, and so I think it is great that we are finally putting out these little nuggets. Because the reality is, by the time we get to next fall, going through all the videos and all the slides, most people are not going to take that effort. I mean, there is a lot of material already on the SAP website, and we haven't even gotten through the end of this school year yet. So I just wanted to give you kudos for A, the deep dive, B, the transparency, and then C, now we're taking the deep dive and trying to synthesize it into these little sound bites that are much more digestible for people. So I think everything you're doing is great. This is going to be hard work. I'm sure we're going to start taking some heat in fall when we start kind of actually rolling out tangible recommendations, but the reality is this work is long overdue and has to be done, and thank you for taking the lead on it.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Ms. McGinnis. Ms. Gewirtz, I believe you have a comment?
Yes, thank you. I just had a question about the boot camp or whatever it's called for new members this summer, whether the recruitment for that has gone well, whether you need help, just an update on that, please.
Yeah, so we went back to the original application list and pulled the next numbers, looked at how many committee members were rolling off or haven't been able to show up. We did also reach out to them just to ask like what their barriers were to see if we can mitigate any of those. Some have decided like, oh no, I'm really staying. So looked at those numbers, looked at the original list, invited those, and then anyone who's honestly really have just shown interest and have been engaged, we've sent it out to them too. So we just did that last week, so we're still kind of in the numbers game, waiting to see how people respond. But if there are people you guys think would be value added, please send them to me and we will definitely get the application out to them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gewirtz. And just to that point, I know Ms. McGinnis mentioned something about the wealth of information on your site. Just speak to us a little bit about the participation and the attendance in your meetings. Just kind of update us on that and how well that's going, or if you need a little bit more massaging or what.
So we started with about 150 members across 4 committees. We are probably trailing about closer to 100 now that actually physically show up to those meetings. Some of the challenges I think our people have life and families, sports activities, etc. after school, and so we've been in contact, but there has been a request to do some of this virtually, so we're going to move to some of that in the fall. I think we also are prepared for just a little bit of attrition, like we started real strong at my last district as well, and it kind of trailed off. I do want to caution us not to, even in the fall, after the fall kind of starts, if we drop off, I think we just drop off after that point because there's just too much to onboard at that point. Right now we're still in the learning and just kind of developing our principles phase, and that's easy to onboard, but once we start getting to preliminary recommendations in the fall, that'll be a little more tricky.
Okay.
But there's just some natural attrition, I think, that happens in these spaces.
And that's to be expected. That's somewhat like our strategic plan. We've also had that kind of thing over the years. But I applaud you thank you all for the hard work that you're doing and the presentations that you bring to the table. It's very thorough.
Thank you.
It's a lot of work and it's a lot of engagement. But, you know, if you want something to happen, you have to get yourself involved. So I just appreciate what you're doing. And all the information is very clear. And you're taking your time with it, which is really good, going across the county, across the district, and that is commendable. So thank you so very much for all the work that you're doing.
Can
you
I
and your
just,
team.
just really quickly remind everyone with student assignment planning, this process will recycle again in the next 5 years. So it aligns with our ESSER, not ESSER, oh my God, SPLOST funding to make sure, I missed that money, right? So that we can continue to revisit our boundaries, our enrollment, and just keep the cycle moving strategically.
And thank you, Dr. Horton. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you. And
I'd
thank you
like to
guys for sharing.
I'd like to acknowledge Mr. Yasu, who has joined us. Thank you. Well, at this time, it is requested that the DeKalb County Board of Education adjourn the April 21st, 2025 meeting to an executive session for the purpose of discussing any permitted matters as it relates to personnel, litigation, land, student appeals. May I have a motion to adjourn to executive session, please? Ms. McGinnis, is there a second? Mr. Yasu, thank you so much. We are adjourned to executive session.
Are you there? You hear? You hear this?
Let's see if it'll actually behave. Okay. Okay, so they're in executive session right now. started at 11 a.m. and they went into executive session like extremely early. But at the beginning of the meeting, Andrew Ziffer removed several items off of the consent agenda, meaning he wants to have, I guess, robust discussions over things. So here are things that I noticed on the board agenda, this board agenda. So in August, schools around the state of Georgia were given an obscene amount of money for school safety. A big part of HB 268 was giving more money for school safety. But Dolezal and Parent both asked the Georgia DOE, what do these school districts use their money for? Have they even used it? Can you get us receipts? So they had a fight about that in an appropriations meeting. And so I looked at the items to discuss this, and they've had these contracts since January of 25, and it's taken until March of 25 for their legal team to even review them. The one thing that stuck out to me on that is that the Kroger building is one of the first items on there, and that's the building that none of us really knew about. I would post all the stuff on my screen or on from my computer, but I really don't want to. I don't feel good. I woke up feeling like I got hit by a truck. Like, I don't know if I have the flu or what, but I'm recording this and I'm live streaming it because they keep forgetting about the things that they routinely say on their board meetings. And I have been extremely nice to them over the past 2 years. And a lot of the reasons of that was because I just didn't want to engage. And I didn't see my parents, the parents that I still fight for in the district and their kids, like there wasn't a lot of like noise around that. So I just I've just been watching, and unbeknownst to them, I've been filming their board meetings since forever because they went back and deleted all of their board meetings. So in April of 22, that's when they fired CW or Cheryl Watson Harris, and they took down all the archived board meetings. And that includes the firing of Cheryl Watson Harris on live, like on a live stream. And I'm not okay with that. Like, I don't care, it's your district, whatever, but that was a very, very traumatic experience for a lot of us, including the board reps. So for them to yank that down and make it disappear, that hasn't set well with me. And so I spent this weekend looking for that video. I found it. I found all the archived videos that they made disappear. They said they did it under the guise of they were revamping DSTV. When in fact, yes, they did revamp the look of DSTV, but they didn't actually redo anything as it pertains to archiving or keeping their board meetings up. So that's another thing to pay attention to. And I can tell by the body language in this meeting that some stuff is going on. The fact that Dejan isn't there already is weird to me, but that's okay. And then Allison being virtual, but Allison looks like she doesn't feel well. But it's already like a very like tense atmosphere. in that meeting. And I don't know why. I don't really, I mean, I can't say I don't really care because I do care. There was a lot of information I sent to the district. I'm going to leave names out. There was a lot of information I sent to the district regarding things that took place during Georgia poll and things that took place that need to be addressed. I got an asinine reply of it was in my spam folder, even though I was able to see every single time somebody had read the email. It was not in spam. I have to say that I don't know that anybody in this district has ever questioned my ability to do anything with technology until now. To which I'm sure they regret, because I've been able to prove repeatedly that their housekeeping as it pertains to their IT infrastructure, as it pertains to keeping data safe, as it pertains to protecting FERPA, PII, PHI, HIPAA, it's lacking worse than ever. Not that it was ever good under the previous CIO. I sent the district their original contracts from a certain vendor back in, it was 2015 or 2014. But one of the signing people who tested this software was our board chair, Deirdre Pierce. And, you know, at no fault of hers or anybody's that was testing the software out. But I did find that this vendor was adopted by the state of Georgia. So this vendor has been sued by 15 states. And it's for lack of divulging their privacy policy and lack of parental consent and lack of informing their clients of things. If anybody watched what was going on during during like Georgia poll and those mental health bills, you know what I'm referring to, because I immediately was able to put two and two together, and I was like, oh, that's what this is. That's why I have access to that. So I'm just kind of watching the body language. I also found out this week that apparently we got rid of Michelle Summerlin, who I got put in that position due to getting numerous individuals fired. We got rid of Michelle Summerlin and we brought in-house legal back, which is not a good idea. And it's just, you know, I've had my eyes on Hall County for far too long, and they're gonna wild out and do what they do. I mean, I'm still watching and reading stuff, but I don't really care because of the things that are taking place in DeKalb County. Because the things taking place in DeKalb County are not okay. I am not going to expand on that because they know how I feel about that, and they know, and I've shown them that I will. You know, it's not as if I'm blackmailing them. It's publicly available data, so there's that. I'm just really good at harvesting data. But yeah, so far the meeting is kind of weird, and I don't know why Ziffer and one of the other board reps, I think it's the board rep that replaced Vicky. People are in their feelings in this meeting, and I don't. But I guess we'll see what happens. I'm going to disappear now and eat some food or something because I don't feel good. All right, bye-bye. Not working. You guys, I'm trying to use annotation on here. I turned the captions on, but I can't seem to get the annotation to work again. Hold on. It doesn't want to be nice to me. It's rather rude. So I'm screen sharing. That's fine. Okay. Let's come over here. That's where it was this entire time, you guys. Oh my god. That figures. Okay. Anyway. Okay, hold on. Okay. I think you guys can hear me now. Who knows? Oh, wait, no, you can't. My sound is really low. Sorry about that. I was like trying to protect you from the elevator music of DeKalb County and um their hold music. I'm just checking something really quick. Oh Lord help, Adelsa flight. I didn't want to see that. See, this is what makes me mad. It always shows me like, oh, I wonder if it's that or is it that? That? I don't know why it does this, but it's really annoying. Oh no. Oh no, what have I done? I think it's working now, guys. Hold on, I'm gonna look. I'm looking. I'm confused. Okay, hold on. I have to like open this in a browser and see what's going on. I don't want that. Okay, hold on. Okay, so that's working. Whatever. Let's see what they're up to. Okay. They're still, why is that over here? Anyway, they're still in executive session. I don't, I'm not looking for something. Apparently you can have it, never mind. That's me and my shiny object syndrome. So we have been in executive session for an hour now. And I'm waiting with bated breath to see what happens when they exit. And I'm not exaggerating. I really am. I'm waiting to see what happens when they exit because like like I said, stuff and things, y'all, stuff and things that I should have never ever taken my eyeballs off of, right? That's what it is. All right, I'm trying to figure out like why Zoom has me in the top right, even though like it's just very weird. Maybe if I put that. We're gonna see if this works. Hover over your video or content to edit. I am. Okay. Let's see if that fixes it. If that fixes it, I'm gonna be so proud of myself for figuring out how to use Zoom. I'm not seeing any change. There's no change. There's no change. Oh well. I give up. Maybe it's because of my view over here. Oh no. Okay, what just happened there? Jesus Christ, standard. Okay. I don't know what's going on. I just know that like it's sharing appropriately here, but it's not sharing appropriately there. says I'm supposed to hover over these things until I get them where I want them. So I'm just going to mess with this while we wait for our favorite people to return. Let's see what it looks like now. Probably looks like crap, right? At least on my side, it looks like crap. I don't know what it looks like for y'all. Nothing changed. Oh, that's funny. They're reading my emails while they're in executive session. Imagine that. Wonder why they're reading my emails, you guys. I'm also low-key doing this because like I know that after this meeting, I likely am not going to be able to say too much. Let's see what the screen looks like now. It's the same. It's so stupid. I hate this. Hold on. Okay. Whatever. Yeah, so there's like a let's just say there's always stuff and things, right? Okay. So nothing is working appropriately as usual. Let's go here. Or let's go here. And I'm just going to keep doing me until I see them come back online. Now see, on my view, it shows that it's got me. Anyway, yeah, they're in executive session reading my emails right now. The emails that went to spam. For some reason, they continuously doubt my ability to do them in all things technology, which infuriates me. Like, I can tolerate a lot of hot mess garbage being tossed my way, but what you don't get to do is like doubt my my skills as it pertains to technology and as it pertains to programming and everything else, because I take a lot of pride in the fact that I'm self-taught. And being self-taught in how to program in SQL and SAS and I mean, like those are just like two, but then there's like the data harvesting that I do, and then there's the archiving, and then there's yeah, I've got copious amounts of information just archived. It's actually what I've been doing this whole weekend is cleaning up all of my archives because they were just scattered everywhere. And unlike some school districts who shall remain nameless, I use things that are far more encrypted than they do. And so it's just mind-boggling to me that they still do the same thing. But that's okay. They've been doing it since officially 2013. We enrolled in 2014, so it's been pretty bad since then. From what I'm told, it's better now somehow, but that's not the case, at least as far as I can tell. Because I've routinely been able, like I'm able to like, if you've ever done an open record request with this district, guarantee you're going to get another kid's data. I've been able to file like 3 complaints against this district just based off of their inability to not share another child's information with me or with somebody else I'm helping. Yeah, they're reading it again. Dude, what are you looking for? Okay, so I sent an email. I'm just like full stop. Like I'm just tell you, like I sent an email off back at the beginning of April. It's been read. Hold on. I think the count is up to like 70 times now. Yeah, it's been read. This one email has been read 70 times now. I have no idea why. Makes absolutely zero sense to me as to why it has to be read that many times. It's like I'm kind of confused because it's pretty cut and dry. There's no hidden innuendos, there's no hidden anything. It's very like on the surface, like right there in front of you. There's no way you cannot not see it. Like it's there. So um um okay, well apparently I have college planning night with my son this week. That's, that is crazy to say. My son is going to be able to do dual enrollment and take his SAT soon. He's 15. How did that happen? It's upsetting to me. See something here more. Where's my meeting controls? I'm just filling out dead space. I don't know what that is. Whatever. I'm just filling out dead space until they get back because they're taking, so like I said, we're at the 1 hour mark. And I keep reading an email. Hold on, how many times has it been read now? That's ridiculous. Like, one individual has read the email 32 times. Just one. Where's the other? Oh, there's the other. They keep reading, and I don't really understand why they keep reading this one because, like, out of everything, like, if they want to keep reading my emails, I will gladly supply them with the, excuse me, with the meeting with some staff members in their district because they're kind of playing a game of chicken with me right now. Okay, let's see where they're at. They're back yet. Hold on now. Let's come up here. Nope, they're still. I don't know what they're doing, you guys. I do not know what they're doing. It's rather weird. Except it's not weird because it's DeKalb County. I did low key tell them that. What's going on with that? But I did tell them that I would stop being savage on social media. I've kept the promise for the most part. I keep reading my emails. Stop reading my emails. My God. This is absolutely ridiculous. Like, I'm actually shocked that they went into executive session this early. Like, the only thing I can think of about that, like I said, I might be able to share it while they're doing their thing. Let me look if I can. Don't know. I don't know. Let me see if I can find some of the. I'm trying to open some. There it is. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see this. I really hope you can't see it actually. Mm. Mm-mm. Hold on. If I find it, I swear I'm gonna share it. I just don't know where it's at because I've been harvesting and like. Where did it go? Interesting, Lauren. What did you do with it? Anything bad? Maybe I put it in a different location. I don't know. Let's see if it's here. Oh dear. Guys, I have no idea what I just hope that you don't see what I'm doing. If you do, oh well, that's on me. Don't really care. Okay. I should probably not be showing that photo off. No, go back in. This is so funny. All right. That's not what I wanted. Okay. So let's come down here as I try and find this because naturally it's not working the way I want it to work. So I'm going to close that. And I'm going to need for my mouse to come over here and stay here. All right, let's see here. Okay. Right. They're taking such a long time. It's ridiculous. Like, I don't understand what they're doing. I don't get it. Okay. So if I come here, I can that and that. Can I not share? Oh, I can. I can share both. Okay. Let's see what it looks like. Hold on. Hold on. Supposed to be sharing two screens, and my face should not be the large. Where is it? Huh. I wonder if it's oh, there it is right there. Now you guys can see. Okay, so you see this. This is what I've been working on. Trying to minimize this over here so it doesn't give me shiny object syndrome. And I really want my freaking captions turned off right now. Let's see here. This is what I've been working on this weekend. Like, these are empty right now, but you see how much crap I have? Like, let's come in here and see. Like, this is just this weekend, what I've been doing. Like, RFQ. These are bed imitations. So let me see. I don't know what you guys see on the screen. I'm gonna check. Okay, you can see everything that I've got. Okay, that's fine. This. I don't know that. Let's come in here. See, you guys have like a serious like trust issue. Can you tell? Let me come here. See, look, this is everything I've documented from like Georgia poll sessions. So sad. So sad. Where is it? It's not that. No, it's not in my download. It's not there. Is it my drive? Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna stop with this. So hold on. We're gonna stop this shit. I'm gonna come in here, this sharing thing, and we're gonna do this. Okay, we got share. I don't want to pull the Oak Grove thing over. I actually just want to close Finder. Oh, lovely. Really? Are you really gonna be like this to me right now? Everybody gets to see all my stuff. Let me unshare. Close window. Okay, so they had something in there that they were talking about at the beginning of the meeting. And let me see if I can get there. Yes, I'm going to my own website because I'm lazy. Okay, I posted. Okay, continue. I don't know why. Really? Are we really doing this? My SSL. Naturally. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it from somewhere else. It's so stupid. There it is. Hold on. This is what I'm going to share this. Okay. And so let me kind of organize this up here. All right. So you guys can see what I'm looking at. Okay, so there we go. Anyway. Okay. Let's see here. So this is what they were talking about in the beginning of the meeting. Hopefully my other screen is not. There it is. Okay, so this is the K through 12 dashboard, student discipline dashboard. You see that I put it on my website mainly because people aren't paying attention. But like they're talking about this. This is the discipline data. This drives the school climate ratings. And if you come down here to DeKalb County, and we're gonna go by grade level. All right, so I don't really know when these metrics were put out there. Yeah. So that's definitely not the amount of kids we have. But, and especially not for 2024. We haven't had numbers like this since 2018. Or no, 2019, maybe 2020. Anyway, so this is the discipline report. And it tells you how many incidents have happened. So 12,000 students were punished in 2024. So the percent of incidents resulting in out of school suspension, 64.9%. ISS is 28.2. Make that make sense. And this is by, and this tells you right here, like what grade did what. And so out of school suspension, it looks like we are in the habit of sending like little kids. Hold on, let me get it up. Let's stop being stupid. There it is. Okay, so like this KK bucket right here, that's out of school suspension for a pre-K kid. Yeah, make that make sense. Look at this. So like expulsion. Let me come in here and show you. 3. Juvenile court referral. Physical restraint, which I didn't even know that we were doing in DeKalb anymore. The in-school suspension rates by grade. And if you come up here, this is always the fun one. Maybe I do this because of my child being on an IEP. Okay, so this is students without a disability. This is students with a disability. So if there's always a narrative that the students with disabilities are the one like raising hell. No. These are normal kids. These are not normal kids. Then, so the proportion of children without a disability, the consequence of them being out of school suspension is higher than the kids with the disability. Now I have a problem with this bucket right here, specifically because I know that they likely did not hold a tribunal. And students with disability, like, I don't know what the other bucket is for, and it really disturbs me, but if you come down here, the action flow chart, so it's saying harm to a person, all right, by gender, and then it's going to give you by race. So this is the number for out of school suspension. It gives you all of this data, right? So, you know, let's come in here and look at economic status. This is the one that I about like cussed folks out. So this is the economically disadvantaged, and then this is the rich bucket. Do you see the disparity between that? Like, look at this. So the kids that not so like look at the amount of kids. Hold on. This is the economically disadvantaged bucket right here, meaning the poverty thing that like Allison always asks about. This is the amount of kids that they put on OSS or out of school suspension who fall within the lowest tier bucket. And this is the rich kids. So this to me, they didn't even use these other buckets as a recourse. They went straight to out of school suspension for economically disadvantaged. Like there's, and like dress code being one of them is the most asinine thing I've ever seen. And then I don't want to select a school, but then I'm gonna go. I'll just go ahead and hit this one because we all know it's fun. All right, so this is the number of Black children and brown children that got in trouble. Is anybody shocked or not? All right, so discipline consequences. Look at this crap, y'all. I found this the other night. Look at that. This bucket right here represents, this light blue represents Black kids out of school suspension. This bucket right here, if I can get it, this is Hispanic kids, Black and brown kids. Okay, we don't have a lot of American Indian or Native American in our district. And then, so to me, it's really grotesque to see that like we are out here wilding out with like how racist we are in DeKalb County. Like DeKalb County only makes up, white kids only make up like 5% of the district. Look at this. Hispanic. And then there is the 2 or more races. And then there's the white kids. So this is absolutely not appropriate that they send kids out of the district or they put them on out of school suspension. And then they want to know, how do we get the kids engaged? How do we get them the chronic absenteeism to stop? Like, look at this. This is absolutely just, it's disgusting. Like they just out the gate, they They don't care. They discriminate against Black and brown kids. You see this? So that's what they were talking about, by the way, was that. And I just find it disgusting that they were doing that. So I'm gonna hit stop sharing on that. And then there was like, I put another dashboard out here for them. Maybe I didn't. Oh well. It's okay. We're killing time anyway for them to get back. Jesus Christ, what are they doing? Okay. Like I said, I'm just like filling dead space right now. Let me see here. So bizarre. Anyway, you may be able to see my face. I don't know. Yeah, you can. I don't know why they're taking so long. Okay, so, oh no. Oh no, y'all. Okay, sorry. I'm graceful. That's what happens. Okay. I think they've been in executive session now since 12:30. This is just not, it's just weird for me, I guess you could say. Because they're never in executive session this early and this, like, oh, that's some tea. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna go back into hiding because I still feel like crap. So I'm just gonna put like a little funky drawing up or something so you guys know that like I'm still here and all of this stuff. Okay. All right, cool. So now I'm going to hit we'll just share that. Uh-oh, where did my little thing go? That like blurs this. Okay. I don't need y'all seeing all my favorites. There we go. Have they been live and I just forgot?
We
Good, y'all.
think about why are we having this to do this every time, every meeting there is a change of order. I know we're gonna have some, but I really feel like we really should not have this many. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And thank you, Mr. Yasu. Dr. Hogan?
Okay, thank you. I guess my concern, which you're probably familiar with in terms of the funding and how we're funding all of these projects. And I know some of my other colleagues have probably, could explain it a little bit better, but I'm just trying to understand, do we have the funding for these projects where we're paying for from the contingency program? When I looked at the information, it did not show that we had the money to actually fund these projects. And so I just want clarity in terms of maybe I looked at it incorrectly or just a better understanding of where the money's kind of coming from.
Okay. So all the projects, and thank you for that, so all the projects we would not be bringing to the board if we did not have the money available in order to do that, or the funding available. And again, some of this, East Plus 5, is a different program than East Plus 6. Okay, so the way East Plus 5 was set up requires budget reallocations many times from a program contingency. Now that contingency fluctuates with increased revenues, such as from interest of the money in the bank, right? Potential other reimbursements and or savings that were from completed projects. So that money comes in, then it gets redistributed back out to additional projects. Now in SPLOST 6, it's a little bit different. Now we're using the terms budget reallocation, and it's a little bit semantics because SPLOST 6 was just set up as a holding fund. And really what we're asking, even though we call it a budget reallocation historically, all we're doing is taking the money from the original pot and allocating it to that project. So it's coming in off the collections and now being assigned to that project. So when the board approves, for instance, a guaranteed maximum price, that is the new budget because that is exactly what the board is now committed to. And based on revenues and revenue forecasts, and then I think you can refer to the green, yellow, red sheet that we've recently tried to produce. That's showing what we're thinking as of this date and time, but it's a fluid, it continues to be a fluid environment the closer we get to the end.
But can I add to
Does that make sense?
And we're going to talk about this in the retreat.
Yes.
The red, those projects is in the red. Those are not going to be done in SPLOST 5 or 6 at all. Those are totally going to be out of SPLOST. We'll secure some other funding sources for that.
At this time, we're anticipating we won't have enough funds from either East SPLOST 5 or East SPLOST 6 to do the full amount of those projects. So we're anticipating we're going to have to look for additional revenue, which primarily would come from another eSPLOST, or if we can find other grants or other financing type programs in order to do this. But that could, again, 6 months from now, as other projects come on, collections keep coming in, that number keeps changing. So we're constantly reevaluating and reforecasting of what is likely. Conversely, if the market does something really wild, right, it could force more projects to say we might want to hold a little bit until we're sure we're going to get that revenue. So it's just like any kind of household budget, trying to forecast the economy, what you got coming in and what your expenses might be. But right now, everything that's on there, extremely confident we will have the money to be able to do, or else we would not bring the board for those commitments.
Okay, and so I guess the document that I looked at a couple of documents, and for the amount for the program contingency, it showed 0. I guess, or was it
in SPLOST 6?
I think it was Fund 300, which showed 0.
Correct. So Fund 300 is a general fund carryover for capital projects, very similar to SPLOST 6. It basically just sits in a fund. So right now it doesn't have any kind of program contingency because it's just sitting there like in an account, and when a project comes up, we just allocate the money directly to it. And that's something that we're going to get better at because we've been calling it budget reallocation historically, but I can see where it can confuse people.
Yeah, and that Fund 300, the way those funds are a different pot of money. It comes from different shifts that we may made in our fund balance or rebates or potentially even some of the other elements of how we receive funds, and it goes into Fund 300, but it's separate from SPLOST. And one of the things that I think what's critical that we're doing a little different with our project management company, they're not just managing SPLOST, they'll also manage those projects as well. We had 2 different entities prior to September of 2024, where our program manager only managed SPLOST, and then we were managing the Fund 300 and the capital improvement ones, and so it created a lot of gaps in how we maneuver. So we're bringing it under one umbrella, even though the funding mechanisms are 2 different structures.
Okay, and I guess and this is my last comment, with going back to, I guess, eSPLOST 6, and let's see, hold on, let me see here. With the new high school and middle school, those schools will be funded through eSPLOST 6, correct? As part of its 5 and 6?
For Sequoia, construction is eSPLOST 6.
Is eSPLOST 6.
Right. Design, the architectural design actually came out of eSPLOST 5.
Okay. And so, therefore, since this is a large amount, I guess my concern, of course, as you mentioned, is, you know, some of the projects that are in East Block 6 may not get funded. And it's a large amount, and I know that it's already in progress in terms of the new Sequoia. However, just looking at schools that are in my district, some of them are in desperate need of renovations and probably even a new building. And so my concern is these projects will get pushed off of the list for some other projects that are huge projects. And I, of course, always have to advocate for my district as well. I want what's best for all districts, but definitely I see some needs and some possible concerns for District 5 coming up, because what I see happening is, yes, we're saying that there could be East Block 7, but what will happen if there's no East Block 7? And so we're counting our, chickens before they hatch, and I just don't want schools in my area to be left out because there's no money. And so I'm just putting that out there, you know, as a concern that I have, so.
Yes, ma'am, and I acknowledge everything you're saying, and that's why we've kind of started revamping all of this. Again, East Plus 5 and 6 goes back to almost 9 years, and when those plans were first adopted and first committed to by previous board actions. We have planned for the Sequoia project from day one, 4 or 5 years ago, from that funding, and of course, things shift over time just based on the market conditions. We don't look at projects of being canceled, because every building, the needs are going to remain, all right? But as those needs come up and we have funding become available, we do the next project, all right? Unless there's a change and we no longer need that facility. And that's a never-ending process for all 130 facilities.
And I think that
schools.
thing that I want to add to this, and you know, as the superintendent, we have projects that are deficient across the entire county, and it is mind-boggling and challenging for us. We want to address all of it, so we're going to be talking to you all at the retreat, our board, about some, in addition to SPLOS, whether SPLOS 7 makes it over the finish line or not, there's some other mechanisms that we can leverage to work to generate funds to address all projects. And so this is why I wanted to just have, and within the retreat you're going to hear that, but remembering for all of us in this room, we have had decades and decades of not doing preventive maintenance, right? And so we are behind the 8 ball in many areas. In SPLOS alone, even when we just went off SPLOS 7, it will never catch us up. So we need SPLOS 7, but we also need some other funding mechanisms to really get us moving. And I know Mr. Hofstadter shared that with us regarding like the true issues around our funding. And so as we move school districts and everyday students are stepping into these buildings, HVACs are falling apart, roofs are leaking, so we just have to we need to do a large-scale approach to address it all, and and that may come to the tune of a little over $1 billion for us to get there, but I think we have some ideas that can get us closer, and we're going to share that. So we want to get those schools taken care of in your board region for sure.
Thank you, Dr. Hogan. Ms. McGinnis, go ahead.
Thank you. And I'm not going to belabor the point, because anybody who has been watching these meetings will not be surprised by what I'm about to say. I would like to pull off everything under the East Blost capital improvements section. I can continue to have concerns about the financial management of our East Blost and capital improvement projects. Dr. Hogan, made a reference to Fund 300 and having a contingency balance listed at 0, and Mr. Hofstadter, you said, yes, but it doesn't really mean that. And quite frankly, that's just not an acceptable answer. The reports that are put out by your department need to be understandable, they need to be legible, they need to be accurate. And I do not feel that they have been. There has been reference just a few minutes ago to the green, yellow, red list, but that has not been made public. So another longstanding concern I have had is that we all sitting up here know that we will not be able to do all the projects, but we have not come clean with the public about what those projects are and allowed for a chance on open discussion. And quite frankly, the longer we kick the can down the road, the money is just all going to be spent, and the projects in the red, it's going to be like, there's just no way. So you're not allowing for community input. You're not allowing for community voice because you're not even going to announce the red projects until there's no money left. So, as I said, I'm not going to belabor the point. I've said all of these things before. I am not pulling these off because I doubt the needs of these projects. 2 of these schools are in my district. I want them to get good, clean, warm, dry, safe buildings. But I cannot approve these projects until we have clear finances and we have been honest with the public.
And thank you, Ms. McGinnis. Mr. Ziffer? No, Mr. Yasu, you all are pointing at each other. Who wants to go first?
I guess I'll go first. I have a handful of questions. I'll just do them one at a time rather than confuse. Just a structural question, but when we're doing eSplost reports, and Mr. Schoeneman, this is a question for you too, why don't we have an eSplost report that comes from finance? So it's almost a very simple report of project, amount spent, budget, left to go, any expected variances. So that was my first question, but structurally, why does that happen?
You want to talk about that report that's due in December of every year?
Yeah. I can just tell you it is a collaboration. The operations department, I guess historically has, or at least for the last several years, has been the eSplost manager in light of all the transitions. But we are now working with finance to bring all that back together under one umbrella. Because as we know, eSplost hits many things outside of, in the way our current structure is, outside of facilities. So there has to be accountability for that as well.
It seems like operations would be responsible for what's happening, and then Mr. Schoeneman is telling us what's already happened. So if you want to add some highlight.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Ziffer. The way that I would explain it is there are 2 sets of reports that are happening. One are required annually. We have to prepare a SPLOST schedule, high-level voter-approved referendum Roman numerals. Exactly like you said, what's let me start over. What is the initial budget? What's the current budget? What's the spend? What's left over? And then when is the anticipated completion report or completion date? That is what's required for financial reporting, and that's what my team and Chief Hofstadter's team have worked collaboratively on to produce and have that sync up, and then also be reconciled to the project listing and expenditure data by project. And so that's what's required. What we have in addition to the required financial reports is our monthly, which are now quarterly, SPLOST or capital project reports. Which you want to touch on that? I mean, that is not coming from finance. That is something that either the SPLOST team or one of our contracting partners have worked to put that monthly or quarterly report together. And so there is a great deal of work that's happening currently behind the scenes as part of the SPLOST audit to make sure that those 2 are in sync. And so we're definitely working towards that. We put in checks and balances within finance. We've added positions, and now we are reconciling that project ledger to the subsidiary ledger that Chief Hofstadter and his team are reporting on. And going back to that monthly, quarter, those are not required SPLOST reports for information purposes only, not audited, compared to what comes out of finance is, required, must be published, advertised, and required.
Right. So the quarterly reports are basically a snapshot at that moment in time. But as you're aware, it changes multiple times daily because of the amount of cash flow. So those are unaudited. It just says, here we are at this point in time. This is how much we spend. Here's what we're still forecasting and what's remaining available. And that's what we continue to
And then
have.
I would
But
add-
that's a daily occurrence.
And I wanted to add, there has been challenges in the past with the report that they're describing, that Mr. Schoeneman described. And so I don't know how far we go back, but I know this past December, it was the first time where our operations and finance team put together shared the process. It was one report. What had happened in years prior, operations were putting out a report and finance put out a report. We just did that for the first time this past December, where it was combined to describe exactly what you said, and the numbers were exactly the same. And Ms. McGinnis pointed that out to me from the beginning, and Byron and Hofstadter wanted to make sure that they took care of that.
And by the eSPLOST reports, do you mean the spreadsheets that are released with SPLOST 5 and SPLOST 6 projects, or is it reporting? Okay, those are the.
So on the capital improvement planning site, you'll see the QSRs of the quarterly status reports. Those are unaudited, just moment in time at the end of that quarter of what everything is based on what's in Munis. Does that make sense? Because so anything that's now aligned in Munis, so we're using the same numbers, but it's at that literally moment in time when that report is pulled.
And are these beyond, you push a button and the report gets generated? Is this a Herculean task to do that report?
Yes.
With the number of contractors and projects that we have going on, with those periodic SPLOST snapshot in time that Chief Hofstadter is talking about, it does not include accruals. So like invoices that we receive after the fact and we have to accrue back to recognize that expense as the right period in time. Finance does that because we have to be in compliance with governmental accounting standards, and it gets audited. For Chief Hofstadter, the importance is more on timely reporting, right? You want to have those reports on a timely basis, and we don't have months to wait, then backdate it and get those reports. So really, the emphasis for the SPLOST reports, like I said, they're unaudited, they're for information purposes, and the emphasis is timeliness.
Something I would like to,
Mike?
Something I would like to add, potentially what we can do for the new school year, since we do have these steering committee meetings, we can actually work with our steering committee meetings to work on a report that could be created every other steering committee, or a monthly. We'll talk about the timeline so that could be a discussion and a presentation every single month. So it's a regular flow with discussion and conversation, and we don't wait till like that quarterly to have the discussion.
Right, and where I'm getting at in all of this is that we're close, we're not there, but we're close to the end of our SPLOST 6 expected revenue and projects. So we're not there, but we're getting close. We're approving some big items this month, and hopefully. But when I'm looking at the total commitment, it seems like we'd have to follow that commitment a little bit more closely than quarterly. And this probably leads into my next question, but there's a lot of projects being designed right now. And are there any other projects right now that we are committed to that are shovels in the ground that have not been fully approved yet, such as the Sequoia project? Sequoia has it's already started construction. Mm-hmm. Are there any other projects like that through the district that have started construction but have not been fully approved?
The only one right now that comes to mind would be Murphy Candler. The board approved the first release GMP a couple of months ago to start moving modular units in, which is currently taking place. That full contract for the actual construction will be coming next month. So in the case of Sequoia, last year, May of 2024, the board approved the early release package of approximately $87 million. So that is already under contract. And the board is now committed to that and funding that since last year. That work is what's taking place. This remaining $141 million is the additional expense now to actually construct the building and the parking lots and the fields and everything else so that it can be a finished product. Together, that becomes a $228 million.
And the leftover construction for Murphy Candler, do you know the approximate dollar amount? Is it a $25 million, $50 million?
Yes, sir. It's 30. It's very similar to what Idlewood's budget was because they're very similar size schools.
30 million.
They're in the 33, 34, I think somewhere in that range.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. And I do want to give kudos for one thing. We've talked about the red projects, and I'm assuming there's going to be lots of questions about the red project soon. But so kudos to you. But in the December meeting, there was a $200 million more in projects than revenue. It was discussed directionally in December. And then if we removed those red projects, I kind of estimated we lowered that 200 million to about 50 million. When will we decide when we're going to close shop on SPLOST 6 and clearly communicate what we're doing for SPLOST 6 and then alternative funding methods for the projects that didn't make the line as far as what we have money for?
So that'll be discussed again at the upcoming board retreat, and we're going to keep pushing that effort. Now, we're about halfway through eSPLOST 6 collections. The last collection would be June of 2027. But based on those forecasts, and again, we forecast a little on the low side, conservatively, all right? So we know we're staying in that budget, all right? Everything that is now under commitment, we're very, very, very confident that we'll be able to finish out before SPLOST 6 and still have some left over. So we have a couple of projects remaining in the next month or two. And then that goes back to 2023 when everything was halted and we said we got to get these projects out. That was the demand and the will of the board.